All right. So we did all of this together when we went over it. So remember, the direct object in the sentence is the person or the thing or even the pronoun that is receiving the action of the verb. Remember, the action is the thing that you can do. So we did all of this together. So remember, we were to highlight the things or to highlight the direct object. So the first one, Papa is herding cattle. What's being herded? Cattle. Cattle's our direct object. Mama will fix the fence. Fix, what's being fixed? The fence. I will plant. Plants our verb. What's being planted? Seeds. Last month, a mountain lion attacked our neighbor's cow. Attacked is our verb. What's being attacked? Cow. Their hired man saw it. What was being saw? It. He scared it away. What was being scared? It. The story frightened me. Who was being frightened? Me. Our parents warned us to stay on the ranch. Who was being warned? Us. I will never forget the bear we met in the woods. Who's not being forgot? Bear. After this time, we paid attention. What was being paid? Attention. So we did all of that together already. Hopefully, you still remembered whatever is receiving the action of the verb. That is our direct object. Any questions on page uno? No? We shouldn't because we already did that. Let's scroll down. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my gosh. Sorry, email. Mrs. Knifel's emails are going crazy today. So, compound direct objects. Remember, the compound direct objects is when it is two or more things, just like a compound sentence, two or more things, a compound word, two words put together. So, same thing, direct objects, but it's two or more. So, we did, I think, two of these together. So, I gathered a hammer, nail, and glue. So gathered is our verb. What's being gathered? A hammer, nails, and glue. So a hammer, nails, and glue should all be underlined because all of those would be our direct object. There's three in that case. Our next one, I fixed the fence, the barn, and the front door. All right, fixed is our verb. That's what's being done. And what was fixed, Bree? What's up, Eliana? Okay, you can go. The fence, but what else? The barn and the front door. All three of those things were fixed, so all three of them need to be underlined. We welcomed our neighbors and some traveling musicians. Welcomed is our verb. And who was being welcomed, Abby? Correct. Our neighbors and some traveling musicians. So in this case, there's only two, but compound means two or more. So our neighbors and some traveling musicians should be underlined. And the last one, the musicians entertained our neighbors and us. Entertained is our verb. Who is being entertained, Eric? Yes, our neighbors and us. Our neighbors are one and us is two. So that is why it is compound. Fabulous. And I know we did these bottom three together as well, but we'll go over them again. We had to underline the incorrect object pronoun, and we were going to write the correct one. So the first one was the moon and the stars helped they and us see better. Okay, well, they and us, like, what? Us and they, like, that's two different groups. So we needed to underline they and us. That's incorrect, and just put us. It should be the moon and the stars helped us see better. By the way, I have my mask off because no one is anywhere close to me in case someone's watching this video and wants to know. And it's easier to hear me virtually without a mask. Papa says the darkness never scared Mama or he. Mama or he, that makes no sense. So Mama or he needs to be underlined and it needs to be changed to them. Papa says the darkness never scared them. And the last one, still, you won't find my brother or I That's supposed to be out, not hour. That was Mrs. Kneifel's typo. Out after dark. Instead of my brother and I, we can change it to just us. We're talking about two people. It can be us. Are there any questions on page 2? Questions at home? Questions here? Anyone? Going once, going twice? No? All right, cool. Scrolling down, down, down. What, Isabel?
We're on the 3rd page.
We are on the 3rd page. All right, so the top of the 3rd page is when we are talking about the indirect object. And the indirect object, if you remember, comes in between the verb and the direct object. We know what a verb is. It's the action word. The direct object is what is receiving the verb. So the indirect object is in between it, okay? That is, hi, Gabby. Tells us to or from or who or what the action verb is being done. So a sentence has an indirect object, must have a direct object. Not all sentences has an indirect object, and that's fine. It's okay if it doesn't. But if it does have an indirect object, it will have a direct object. So for this one, I know we did a few together. That's okay, Gabby. This is being recorded, Gabby. So what you missed, I'll post it on the homeroom Google Classroom, and you can watch what you missed. It's no big deal. All of my lives I'll be recording. So if you ever miss one, come late, have to leave early, your internet cuts out, it's no big deal. I will post all the lives as a recording, so it is not a big deal. Because I know, internet, I know, trust me. So the directions were underline the indirect object and highlight the direct object. So our cousin showed us the swimming hole on the ranch. So showed is our verb. Swimming hole, well, in this case, hole is the direct object. And the indirect object is us because we were shown the hole, which is the direct object. So us should be underlined, hole should be highlighted. Number 2, they handed us fishing poles. Handed is our verb. Poles is our direct object. Who's being handed the poles? Us. So we are the indirect object. Well, us, not actually we, because we're not getting fishing poles. We brought the ducks and geese small pieces of bread. Brought is our verb. What's being brought? Bread. And who's it being brought to? Ducks and geese. So ducks and geese are our indirect object because that's who the direct object is being brought to. So ducks and geese should be underlined. Bread should be highlighted. Four, we took the cows and horses their feed. Took is our verb. What was taken or took? Feed. And who was it taken to? Cows and horses. So cows and horses should be underlined. Feed should be highlighted. And last but not least, they got her a snack. Got is our verb. What was gotten? A snack. And who got it? Her. So got is our verb. Her is our indirect object. And snack is our direct object. Dun, 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 dun. Let me check something on my computer real quick. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Coming back. Sorry. All right. Scrolling down, down, down. I don't remember if we did these together, but we're going to do them together anyways right now. So this is just reviewing the direct and indirect object, literally what we just did above. So direct object, remember, what is receiving the action of the verb, and the indirect object comes between the verb and the direct object. So here, the action verb in the sentence was already highlighted. I already pointed out the verb to you, and you had to find the direct object and highlight it, and then underline the indirect object if there was one. Remember, there does not always have to be an indirect object. Number 1, I wrote Amy a letter. Wrote is my verb. What was being wrote? A letter. It was being wrote to Amy. Amy's indirect object, letter, is direct object. I'm so glad all of you guys are here. Number 2, described the eclipse? Described is our verb, and what was being described? The eclipse. Well, guess what? There's no person or thing it's being described to, so there is no indirect object in this sentence. It is just describe an eclipse. No indirect object. Number 3, I gave our dog a treat. Gave is our verb. What's being gave? A treat. That's the direct object. Who's it being gave to? Dog. Dog would be our indirect object. 4, Amy mailed me a pen. I don't know who mails pens. Good question. Mailed would be our verb. What was being mailed? A pen. And me is the indirect object because that's who the direct object is being mailed to. And last but not least on this page, I wrote Mom and Dad using the pen. Wrote is my verb. What was being wrote? Well, what was being wrote with? A pen. And who are we writing to? What's up, Eliana? Good job. You can write your name on that paper up there. Fabulous, Eliana. And who's being wrote to? Mom and Dad. Fabulous, fabulous. So, any questions on page 3? Dun, 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 dun. No? Oh, okay, good. All right, our final page was, of course, the one where we have to read and make changes. So, what?
For the pen, it might be mailed for school.
Oh, I suppose. All right, so read the selection and highlight the best answer to each question. Mary wrote a paragraph imagining she lived in a historical period. Read her paragraph and look for any revision she should make. The answer, then, it should say then, not the. Mrs. Kneifel makes so many typos sometimes. Then answer the questions that follow. On the farm. Papa rode the big red stallion. Papa rode the palomino. Mama made quilts for our beds. When we rode in the wagon, we saw deer running. We saw hawks circling. We have chicken for supper. We are safe from dangerous wildlife inside. Which shows the best way to combine, that means bring together sentence 1 and 2. So sentence 1 and 2 is Papa rode the big red stallion. Papa rode the palomino. So the best way to combine that is Papa rode the big red stallion and the palomino, making that a compound indirect object. Rode would be our verb, and our direct objects would be compound, big red stallion, and the palomino. So the best way to combine that is C. Then 2, which shows the best way to combine sentence 4 and 5. Sentence 4, when we rode in the wagon, we saw deer running. We saw hawks circling. The best way to combine that is once again making it a compound direct object sentence. When we rode in the wagon, we saw deer running and hawks circling. So rode is our verb. Deer running, hawks circling is our direct object, and then our wagon would be our indirect object. Okay, so C for number 1 and A for number 2. Do we have any questions on any of our grammar, not of our verbs, any of our grammar? Remember, on your test tomorrow, you can use your, hopefully you made corrections if you got anything wrong. You may use your grammar pages on the test tomorrow. That'll be posted bright and early in the morning for any of you at home. Don't leave yet. So now, once I get off, we are going to have a chunk of math time. Madeline, this does not pertain to you because you already took your NWEA, okay? So ignore me. You can go do like science or something, Madeline. So Madeline, you could leave if you want. But Malik, Ethan, Gabby, Zuri, we in here are going to do our math NWEA. I already sent you the codes, the password, and the session name. I need you guys, just like you do at school, log off your computer, go to the NWEA tab, log in like always, and I will confirm you, okay? And then we have reading live around 9:30. So that's what we're doing now, Okay. If you choose to do your math NWA at a different time, you have to email me to let me know, Mrs. Kneifel, I'm going to do my math NWA now. That way I know to confirm you. Okay. And you do not have to finish it today if you do not want, but it does need to be finished like this week. So make sure you get it done sometime. Okay. Thank you for joining me live, friends. This will be posted in case you missed something. Anyone at home have any questions? If not, our next live is at 9:30 for reading, okay? Email me if you have any questions, okay? So long. I'm leaving you now. Goodbye.